What's going on, 49er faithful? What's going on, NFL world, NFL fam, NFL gang? This is your boy Niner Game Podcast coming to you with the first in a series of videos that's going to let you know about the actual NFL. We are going to be talking about each division, what happens, wins, losses, why it happened, why it didn't happen. We're just going to cover everybody. So, with that being said, let's get right on into it. We're going to start off with the first division of football. We're going to start off with the AFC East. Now, this past week, we had a ton of different football. So let's see exactly what we got on the docket and what happened to every team in the AFC East. So we had some AFC East battle. We had some action here, interdivisional game, and that was with the Jets and the Patriots. And let's just say the Patriots looked like they didn't know how to play football because the Jets came in there and beat the brakes off of them 24-3. Flat out fantastic game by the Jets. If you look at the way it works, each quarter was scored. Basically, the Jets scored 7 in the first 3 quarters and 3 in the last. And the Patriots scored 3 in the second and didn't score in any other quarter. I'm not sure what's going on with Mayo. I'm not sure what's going on with squad, but it definitely didn't work out. And Jacoby Brissett obviously may not be the guy. Of course, we all know Jacoby Brissett is the bridge guy. They are still looking for their actual quarterback in New England. They've been looking for that since Tom Brady left and have unfortunately not been able to figure that part out. So let's talk about Jacoby Brissett, 12 of 18 for 98 yards. He only averaged 5.4 yards to throw. He was sacked 5 times, people. 5 freaking times. Jacoby Brissett was sacked. Drake May came in and played. He went 4 of 8 for 22 yards, 2.8 yards per throw, which is trash. And he was sacked 2 times. So that's 7 sacks in totals for the for the New York Jets defense. So rushing game was all right for the Patriots, total of 78 yards, and that's between 5 different people. Top rushers were Antonio Gibson and Rodamore Stevenson. So Gibson had 5 carries for 29 yards, 5.8 yards a carry. It's not bad. Probably should have kept feeding him the ball. And then you have Rodamore Stevenson. He had 6 carries for 23 yards, only 3.8 yards per carry. Drake May averaged 6 yards per carry, but that's because he only had 2 carries and it was 12 yards. And one of those carries was for 11. So that tells you that other carry didn't go anywhere. When you take a look at the receiving, Demario Douglas, 7 catches, 69 yards. Austin Hooper, 1 for 19. Jalen Polk, 2 for 13. Hunter Henry, 2 for 9. The list goes on. It just looks bad for the Patriots. They're not looking good. Rodamore Stevenson fumbled. He lost that one. And then you go ahead and you take a look at the defensive side of things. Raekwon McMillan, 10 carries, 10 tackles. Jelani Tavai, he had 10 tackles. Jonathan Jones had 10 tackles. You got Tavai with a tackle for a loss. Anthony Jennings had 2 tackles for a loss. Joshua Oos, he had 1 sack and a tackle for a loss. And then you got Dietrich Wise Jr. He had 3 tackles, a tackle for a loss, and a sack. So it's not what's going on, Manny Shavers. So defensive-wise, they had 2 sacks. They had 5 TFLs, and looks like they just had 1 pass defense. Not much really going on for the New England Patriots. This is where Jermichael Hasty is, huh? Didn't know he was over here. So Jermichael Hasty only had 1 kick return for 18 yards. It's safe to say that the Patriots didn't show up to this game. It was a whole nother world. So then you go ahead and you flip over to the other side of things. You talk about the New York Jets. Aaron Rodgers, 27-35, 281 yards, 2 TDs, only took 2 sacks. That sounds a little bit more like an Aaron Rodgers stat line. This next one, we got Braylon Allen, 11 carries, 55 yards, average 5 yards a carry. That ain't bad. Breece Hall, 16 carries, 54 yards, 3.4 yards per carry and a TD. Then you had Aaron Rodgers. He had 3 carries for 18 yards. Go to the receiving, Tyler Conklin, which I believe is their tight end. 5 catches, 93 yards on 6 targets. Alan Lazard, appreciate you because you're in my fantasy. 3 catches, 48 yards and a TD. Mike Williams actually played a few snaps. 3 catches on 4 targets. 34 yards. Garrett Wilson, 5 catches, 33 yards, and a TD. So, the list goes on. Brees Hall he fumbled, but they recovered it. Then you go over to the Jets defense. Quincy Williams, 8 tackles, 1 TFL. Chuck Clark, 7 tackles, 1 sack. Jamie Sherwood, 5 tackles. But then you go on to Will McDonald, the fourth, 3 tackles. 2 of them were sacks. Then you jump down to Quentin Williams, 2 tackles. 1 of them was a sack. And then you have Solomon Thomas and Tack McKinley splitting a sack. They both had half a sack. And then you come to Leonard Taylor and Michael Clemens. They both had half a sack. So basically, these defenders for the New York Jets defense look pretty good. Didn't seem to have too much of an issue making things work. When you look at it in total, they had 7 fucking sacks. That's an amazing day for a defense. Not going to lie. You got 5 tackles for a loss. You had 2 passes defensed. No interceptions from either team. New England punted 5 times. The Jets punted 3. So basically what this is telling you is that we still see the New England Patriots are struggling to find their identity and find out who they are. And we do hope that they do figure some things out because, Bill Belichick voted for Gerard Mayo to be the guy, and he is. But it's going to take some time to get things back to the way they were, and you can't expect them to come in and beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick right off the bat. So basically, when you look at this game, it was 24-3. It was not necessarily the best. Once again, Jets scored in all 4 quarters. The New England Patriots scored in three quarters there. The New England Patriots scored in second quarter and didn't score ever again. When you take a look at everything, that's just how it works. Now when you go back and you take a look at it, you look at the standings. The New York Jets are now 2-1, and the New England Patriots are now 1-2. That's unfortunately the way that things worked out for them. It's nice when you have an interdivisional game, but then again, it sucks because if that opponent knows you very well, then you kind of get the swift kick in the ball sack when it comes to it. So we're going to take a look at the other scores for the AFC East. So we already covered the Jets. We already covered the Patriots. Now we got to take a look at what happened with the Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills. And let's take a look at it. So Miami, how's the score to say? Miami 24-3 got their ass handed to them. No Tua Tagovailoa here because he is out. They kept him out for concussion protocol. Hopefully he's taking his health very seriously. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he can get back on the field and make things happen. But unfortunately, these are the things that go down. So right now for the Miami Dolphins, you got Skylar Thompson. He is their quarterback, and it looks like they have another dude in there named Tim Boyle. I don't even know who the fuck that is. We remember who Thompson is because Thompson played a little bit because Tua, unfortunately, gets injured very often. So Skylar Thompson, 13-19, 107 yards. He was sacked 5 times. Tim Boyle, 7-13, 79 yards. He was sacked once. You go over to the rushing game. Achane, 11 carries for 30 yards. That's trash, 2.7 yards per carry. Jalen Wright, 2 carries for 17 yards, 8.5 yards per carry. Jeff Wilson Jr., 3 for 14, 4.7 yards per carry. But one of his runs was 10 yards. So when you kind of look at it, the numbers are a little inflated. But take a look at this here. And this is the key. So you go over to the receiving. Tyreek Hill, 3 catches, 40 yards. D. Eskridge, 1 catch, 30 yards. Achane, 3 catches, 28 yards. Waddle, 4 for 26. Julian Hill, 2 for 14. Jonnu Smith, 2 for 18. Alec Ingold, 3 for 16. You know what all those dudes have in common? They didn't even get over 40 yards, and none of them had a touchdown. Very unfortunate. So Skylar Thompson fumbled twice. Luckily, he didn't lose any of them. The only person that did lose something was, Teron Armstead. Well, Teron Armstead and Jeff Wilson Jr. were the ones who recovered it. But at the end of the day, man, it looked bad. Jordan Poyer for the defense for the Dolphins, 9 tackles. Jordan Brooks, 9 tackles. Deshaun Haney had 5 tackles in the sack. Jalen Ramsey, 5 tackles and 2 tackles for a loss. Then you have Zach Seiler, 3 tackles, 1 sack. Come over to Calais Campbell, 3 tackles, 1 sack. So they had 3 sacks in totals, 6 TFLs and 5 passes defense. Cater Kohu, he had an interception. Zach Seiler had an interception. So that's 2 interceptions. So you obviously got 2 interceptions and did nothing with it because you only had 3 points. The Miami Dolphins scored in the first quarter and didn't score again for the rest of the game. Now, the funny thing is, the Seattle Seahawks scored 17 in the first, didn't score in the second or third, and scored 7 in the fourth quarter. So that tells you the defense woke up for the Dolphins in the second and third quarters. If you kept holding them to 17, your offense got to give them something. Your offense has to give back, and you can't continually just sit up there and give the defense can't be out there doing what they did and you give them nothing in return. That's trash. So then you flip over to the defense, flip over to the Seattle Seahawks, 26-34, 289 yards for Geno Smith, 1 TD. He threw 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Zach Charbonnet, my guy, shout out UCLA. You got to love it, got to love it. 18 carries, 91 yards, 5.1 yards per carry, and 2 TDs. Let's go. Let's go, UCLA. Gotta love it. DK Metcalf, 4 catches, 104 yards, 1 TD. His longest catch was 71 yards. So that tells you that the numbers obviously are a bit inflated. The other 3 catches probably weren't much, but hey, it is what it is. Noah Fant caught all of his 6 targets for 60 yards. He averaged 10 yards a carry. Hey, that's the first down every time that man touches the ball. So I can't be mad at him on that. Tyler Lockett, 5 for 46. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 3 for 39. Charbonnet himself had 3 for 16. A.J. Barner had 3 for 13. There was a fumble by Geno Smith, but it was recovered. Then you flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Rayshawn Jenkins had 10 tackles. Tyrus Knight, 6 tackles. Derek Hall, 5 tackles and 2 sacks. And then you got Tyrell Dodson, 5 tackles and 1 sack. Draymond Jones, 5 tackles in the sack. Jaron Reed, 4 tackles in the sack. Boye Mafe, 3 tackles in the sack. So you see all these things coming into play, and these dudes are doing what they need to do and making it happen. On their side of the ball, D. Williams is kick returner, 1 for 39. Laviska Shenault, 1 for 19. Then on the punts, you had D. Williams again, 2 returns for 19 yards. So it just tells you that these are the things that are happening, man. In Miami, good Lord. Good Lord. Y'all need Tua back faster than you think, but they're going to have to struggle through this and try to figure a way to get through this. Shout out to Mike McDaniel with his biracial self. And hopefully he picks it up, man. Hopefully things get better. I know a lot of people were basically not necessarily the happiest when people kept saying that Tua should possibly retire and or that Tua, needs to be careful. Everybody, everybody from the Dolphins brass and from their coaching staff was just like, oh, well, y'all are just speaking on it as if y'all know. Bruh, we're sitting here watching at home. We've seen, we understand. We know what concussions can do to a person. We know that later in life, Tua's quality of life may not be the best it could have been if he would have just said, you know what? I know I'm great. I know I feel good. I know these are the right things, but I'm a little too concussion prone, and I need to be careful with my health in my life. And he takes that money that y'all gave him and runs off into the sunset and decides to retire. I wouldn't be too mad at him if he did, because it would just tell you that, hey, dude's out here trying to live, man. So it is what it is. That's the situation with the Dolphins. They lost 24-3. So the Jets won 24-3 over the Patriots. The Dolphins lost 24-3 to the Seahawks. Let's see what happened with the Buffalo Bills. And here we go. Buffalo Bills beat the brakes off of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm talking about flat out destruction. This is just not even fair. It was 47-10. So the Jags scored in the second and third quarters, didn't score in the first or the fourth. And the Bills scored in every damn quarter. They scored 13 in the first, 21 in the second, 3 in the third, 10 in the fourth. So they made it a point to beat the brakes off of the poor Jaguars. The Jaguars are 0-3, while the Bills are the flip side of that, 3-0 and at the top of their division. So when you take a look at this, Trevor Lawrence, 21-38. That man had 1 TD, 1 interception. He was sacked 4 times. Mac Jones came in and played toward the end of the game. He was 5-8 for 22 yards, and he was sacked. He didn't throw any TDs. Trevor Lawrence had 1 TD, 1 interception. Travis Etienne, 11 carries, 68 yards. Marcus Brown was 22 yards, so he averaged 6.2 yards per carry. Dearness Johnson, 2 carries for 12 yards. So, not even over 100 yards rushing from them. 200 yards in total by the receiving crew. Christian Kirk, 8 for 79. Brian Thomas Jr., 5 for 48. Gabe Davis, 2 for 18. Parker Washington, 2 for 18. Travis Etienne, 4 for 17. Britton Strange, 2 for 12. So not a lot going on there. Mac Jones did fumble, but he recovered it. Then when you look to the defensive side of the ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars, you've got Monteric Brown. You people got to stop with these names. Monteric? Where the fuck does that even come from? Monteric Brown, 7 tackles. Chad Muma, 7 tackles. Antonio Johnson, Ventrell Miller, 6 tackles each. You know what I mean? We've got Jeremiah Ledbetter with 2 tackles for a loss. Ronald Darby had 1 tackle for a loss. Trayvon Walker, 1 tackle for a loss. So no sacks by this team. Kick returns, Devin Duvernay had 1 for 27. And then there were no punt returns there because it doesn't look like there was much to be done. Then you flip over to the other side of the ball. And you know why you had 2 quarterbacks playing, because 1 quarterback got sat down at the end. You got Josh Allen, 23 of 30, 263 yards, 4 TDs. He was not sacked at all. Mitchell Trubisky, 101, 3 yards, nothing. Then you have Josh Allen, 6 carries, 44 yards, 7.3 yards per carry. James Cook, 11 carries, 39 yards, 1 TD. Ray Davis, 7 carries, 22 yards, 1 TD. You got Khalil Shakir, 6 catches, 72 yards, and 1 touchdown. James Cook, 4 catches, 48 yards. Dalton Kincaid, 3 for 41. Ty Johnson, 3 for 28. Keon Coleman, 1 for 24. Here's the thing. Shakir, Kincaid, Johnson, and Coleman all caught touchdowns. These things matter, people. Curtis Samuel, 3 catches for 22 yards. So then you flip over to the defensive side of the ball. Dorian Williams, 11 tackles. Cam Lewis, 8 tackles. Balin Spector, 5 tackles. DeMar Hamlin, love to see that dude on the field. 5 tackles, 2 passes defense. Cam Lewis had that 1 pass defense. Rasul Douglas, 1 pass defense. Christian Benford, 1 pass defense. Then you get down to the sacks. Jamarcus Ingram, AJ Epensia, both of them had a sack. Then you come over to KC Tuhill, 1 sack. You got Von Miller with a sack. Javon Solomon with a sack. So you got your 5 sacks. You got your 6 passes defense. You got your 6 TFLs, and you got 8 passes defense. DeMar Hamlin had himself an interception. So good to hear that dude is out there playing. But this is the situation, man. It comes down to it. The Buffalo Bills beat the brakes off of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it hurts, man. It hurts them bad. So when you take a look at it and you take a look at the division, 3-0 for the Buffalo Bills, 2-1 for the Jets, 1-2 for the Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. You basically can say to yourself, most likely if there's going to be 2 teams to come out of this division, it's going to be the Jets and the Bills. I don't see the Dolphins going anywhere. I don't see the Patriots going anywhere. Both of them have situations at the quarterback position, which is one of the most important positions on the field. And you need to make sure that those dudes are well taken care of. And you need to make sure that you have an offensive line that can keep them upright. But unfortunately, this is what it is. So thank y'all for tuning in. That is all for the AFC East. And we are going to move on to the AFC North. Peace.